Hello, this is DanPro. I just wanted to update you on a project I've been working on. This is actually a model that was created and textured by a CGCookie forum member, Killer Wolf. And this thing is absolutely awesome. This is Christine, the tarantula class attack spider. Now he was having some issues getting some of these wires and things to animate correctly and figuring how to do that. So he was nice enough to allow me to get in there and rig that for him. So I wanted to show you the progress on that, and basically I'm done. So here is the rig for Christine, the tarantula class attack spider. So let me just switch to an animation here. Now this is the action editor, which is just a sub editor of the dope sheet. So I have a couple different animations here. Let me do my walk in place here to start. So we've got everything moving correctly. I just want to do a quick tutorial to just kind of show Killer Wolf how to use the rig itself. So I don't want you to get scared here, but if we select, there's actually 662 different bones that make up this rig, but the 14 that I have selected right now are the main controls. So let me actually switch to back to frame 1 here, and I have a walk forward a little bit better to see everything translating appropriately. And basically I set everything up with simple IK chains for all of these legs. I only really needed to do it once, and then I just duplicated it across. But so it actually looks like it's a lot more work than what it is if I just get all of these bones here. I know that can be a little intimidating, but like I said, basically these 14 bones here are all we really need to worry about. So there's an IK control for each leg, there's an IK control for these pincers, and also one for so we can put the gun anywhere we wish, and the main body control is going to move the body, and we have a thorax control so we can get a little movement back there. And let me get to the bottom here and actually see these wires here will also bend. Alright, so that's basically it. I did separate these meshes into 2 different categories. So on this first layer I have basically the very basic parts, and the reason I did that is so when we're playing our animations and we're doing we'll get a better frame rate. So I'm getting a full frame rate here, but with these other parts we can keep them hidden until we're doing our rendering, and these are all the parts that make up the greeble. So you'll notice I'm getting a pretty big frame rate hit here. Without my recording software on there, I was getting about 20, so I'm actually getting, it's quite a bit slower yet since I'm recording this as well. But and when we're animating, we just turn off that scene layer that has all that greeble on it. One thing I do want you to know that, let's see, if I drag this back without that on, you'll notice that there's going to be a little bit of lag. Once I turn this on, all this stuff needs to be updated. If you just scrub your timeline, everything will update. Or let me turn that off again. Another thing you can do when you turn that on, if those other meshes haven't updated, just grab any control and just activate a transform, and it'll update for you. So just something to be aware of. Let's actually go in here, and I'm going to disconnect this action here, and I want to clear out, get everything back into the base pose here. I can talk about these controls. Like I mentioned before, it's basically just an IK control for each one of these legs. Just move it wherever you want, and everything is going to rotate appropriately to stick to that point. I do have another, the second layer here. I'm going to expose you to these controls so you can fine-tune the final position of these legs. So these 2 controls here, this one is going to define this part of the leg, and this will define this joint here between these 2 sections. Now, I do want you to be a little careful when you're doing this. So when you're posing your legs, put it wherever you wish, so the endpoint is in the proper space, but you should clear the rotations on both of these and then reset that for each one of those new spots, so just to make your IK constraint not flip out here too much. So that's the end position you want for this frame. That's fine, but make sure when you move it you clear this rotation out on those controls and then to reset them. It'll just make it everything work a little bit nicer. So in a lot of cases you can probably just ignore all of these controls altogether. So that's basically it. Let me just show you some of the, I do have all of the wires on this very last layer. The third to last layer are all the mechanism bones that you shouldn't ever really need to touch, and the last layer are the wire setup here. So let me actually go to my different file here. So this was my rigging file. I basically just rigged one single leg, then I duplicated those meshes around, and also duplicated the same bone chain. So I know that, like I mentioned, there's 600 and some bones in here. I really didn't have to rig all that stuff by hand. I just duplicated everything around, so, and used this armature to auto name left and right. So once I got 4 legs on the left side, I just name them to left, auto name them left and right, and then I symmetrized them, and basically that saved me a ton of time. So I didn't rig all 8 legs independently. So I just wanted to quickly show you my setup for these wires. Now, the original model had all of these as Bezier curves. Let me just make sure I got everything cleared out here. I converted those Bezier curves to actual mesh objects, so you can see that they're made up of vertices now. And then I just added a simple IK chain to control them, so I could weight that mesh to those bones. So this the start of that chain is actually parented to this lower arm bone, and the target of this IK chain is parented to the next bone on the chain. So pretty simple setup. If I just go to B bones, you'll notice that I'm using segmented bones. This makes it really nice, gives you really nice deformations. And also, although you shouldn't have to do this, if you're doing a close-up or if you want to do something a little bit different, you can disconnect these bones, make it flop around, do an animation. This is an attack spider, so I'm assuming it's going to be in battles, and some of these wires are going to break, and you can also do the same thing with the target. New with 2.78 are the bendy bone options. You can actually keyframe these different parameters here to make things bend a little bit. So if you're doing a close-up and you get some intersections of these bones, this is where you would want to fix that. So that's it. That is my progress. It is in the done column. So Killer Wolf, you made an awesome model. Thank you for letting me be a part of it, and hope you enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing Christine the Battle Tarantula wreaking havoc across post-apocalyptic battlefields. Good luck.